And here we all are again. Greetings, fellow Fattercasters. Hello, chaps, and all of that. How the devil are you? Yes, I've had a week off this week. I'll show you some of a week away from making YouTube videos and doing guitar lessons. I've been busy around the house. I'll show you some of the fruits of my labours in due course through this evening, no doubt. But before we do that, cheers, everyone. It's a well-earned beer for me. Oh, dear me, that's better. Right, let's see who's first in and who we've got in. Is it going to be... No, it's not Rent to Kill this week. It's David James. Just pipped him at the post by 1 minute. David James, 2:48 p.m. Rent to Kill, 2:49 p.m. And then hot on both their heels, we've got Amadeus and Terry Day. Dave Fiendish and Paul Trainer BSC. We've got Stephen Polk. We've got Francis Chambers and Paul Trainer. Once again, regular as clockwork. Thank you so much, mate. Couple of quid in the tip jar. Much appreciated, mate. Thank you. Then we've got Chip Young, Matt Kerno, and a bit of wind. Who else have we got? Johnny Random is in, so is Ingrid, Peter Collins, Vincent Brennan, and Rubbish Guitar Bloke. Balder64 is in. Rent to Kill stuffed his runners-up medal in his pocket and cut a disconsolate figure as he strode away from the winner's podium. I do get the feeling that there is a sort of, a kind of competitiveness about this each week. When you get the notification, it all just kind of hovered over your phones. There's Fiend Tunes, PFY Guitars, Francis Chambers, Frank Bolam. There's Anton. Tom Clark is in, so is Dr. Gomez 1, Joe McMurray, John Ross, Grumpy Horse, Ian Clark saying another day in sunny Sussex, preparing for the bank holiday. Yes, I'm actually taking, I'll be back at work on Monday, but I'm having the weekend off. And what's my phone bothering me for now? What? Yes, not important, just Deliveroo. Anyway, Stephen Hedger is in, so is 60s Man, Thomas Mulvaney. Doc Alders is there, so is John Channing, Cylon Hybrid, saying, hello everyone, hope wife and Dougal okay, been off live for a few weeks, but managed to use catch-up. Hope everyone is fine. Well, thank you for watching on catch-up, and if you're watching now on catch-up, thank you for watching. Much appreciated. Who else have we got? We've got Gordo Canuck, who's got the thrill of a new guitar this past week. Bought an Enya Go Sonic and really like it. Just pick it up, press a button and play it. Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about them, but they're not tickling my gas muscle, it has to be said. Then, who else have we got? Let's have a look. There's Grandpa Joe, and Calby and the Rocco Cat, Colin Falcon, and who else have we got? We got Andrew Nisbet, we got Cal Texper, Peter Hall is in, so is the Lamb, and where are we? Doc Alders. Have I said you already, or is it Deja Vu? Have I said you already, or is it Deja Vu? Anyway, let's have a look. We got Robin Fawcett, Pablo Hank, Jack Collins, and there's Peter S. Jerry White is in, so is William Forrest, Triple Distilled Moons Guitars, Dave Snack Stevens, and we got Ron Wells. We've got Jay Aoyong. We've got session guitar legend Gary Shaw, no less. Anyone else? Yeah, probably. Brad Dowell is there, and so is Mott the Hoople 2010. First Friday off for a while, so looking forward to a cold one with you all. Well, nice to have you on board, mate. And let's have a scroll down there. We got Graham Triple X. Happy Friday, a bank holiday weekend too in England. And there's artist Bubba and Searching for Tone and Blue Sofa Songs. Who else have we got? We got Bob Smith, Johnny D. I don't know if I've said you already. We've got David 1188 and Michael Purcell. There's Triple X Paps and Raceface EC90. I hope that's the correct pronunciation, but if it isn't, we'll just have to live with it. Reeled in 58 is in. Long time no see, mate. It's been a while since I could get here. I have a few days off work, so it's great to get the chance to catch the stream live. Well, nice to have you back, mate. And who else have we got? There's artist Bubba. Mark Fay is in. And Raceface Dude there said, I'm very happy. I just bought a Charvel Sandemus, something or other. Sassafras? I don't know what that was. Floyd from a gent on the fretboard. Loving it. Just not a shred player, though. We've got Farjon. We've got Ian Rouse. We've got Peter Williamson. We've got Rudiger Ehrlich. And I think that's everyone. I apologise if I've missed you. I was a bit hesitant reading out the chat because it was jumping quite a bit more than normal. Peter Hall, I'm just seeing you're in there. I don't think I mentioned you, mate. Sometimes the chat at my end on StreamYard just kind of, I don't know whether it refreshes or whether it just what it does, but it just appears to jump and you kind of realise you're either quite a way further down or quite a way further back up than you were, and it takes you... great pronunciation, John. Sassafras is the wood, the body... is the wood of the body a North American tree, I think, says Raceface EC90. That's how I'm going to say it for now. So, yes, indeed. I've been a busy lad this week. Do you notice anything missing in the background? Let me just head off over here. The backdrop has changed somewhat, has it not? That knackered, old, fold-down sofa bed is no more. That was a good day's worth of sweating and swearing to get that damn thing dismantled. If there's one thing worse rather than putting flat pack stuff together, it's taking it to bits. And in the end, there was one part of it I just couldn't figure out, like the biggest bit, that I just couldn't figure out how it came to bits. So I had to struggle it down the stairs and into the backyard. I remember it came in a box that was like, not as big as this one part that wouldn't come to pieces. So it obviously does, but I just can't figure out for the life of me where it kind of undoes and everything. So yes, a lot of swearing and sweating to get that bloody big thing manhandled down the stairs. And the backdrop isn't finished yet. There's a further addition that's going to be going on the back wall there, not in a guitar form, just let's say something to adorn the wall that hasn't arrived yet. It's coming on Wednesday, I believe, according to the tracking information. So next week you'll see the room in its finished form. I've been doing that. I've been doing some work in the bathroom, sorting a couple of things out in there that needed doing. I've been just general little jobs around the house, many of which involved assembling flat pack furniture, not least of which is that new chair there that gives people something to sit on. Normally, when I do lessons, if it's a kind of a child that's coming for a lesson, the parent likes to sit in on the lesson, and that couch was where they would sit. Well, now they've got that chair to sit in. So yes, I've been a busy lad. It'll be a relief next week to get back to work for a rest, if I'm honest. Just all of those little household jobs that pile up during the course of a year. God, I'm looking rather Uncle Festerish here, aren't I? Let me see if I can turn this lighting a little bit. Just all of that sort of stuff that, just piles up, and every time you walk past a certain part of the house and you think, yeah, I must get that done, and then eventually, you can stand it no longer, and I have to take a week off work to do them. Cylon Hybrid is saying, John has the better half, pick the paint or paper. Time you joined us in housework. There is no paint or paper involved. There's no, it's, well, you'll see what's going on the back wall next week. All I will say is it's something that makes me proud. And that's all I'm going to say. For the moment, John, only watch you to look at that old sofa. Well, I'm afraid you're disappointed, mate. I've got to wait for the rag and bone man to come round. And yes, we still have rag and bone men in this part of the world. I was mentioning this the other day to somebody who lives, a mate of mine who lives down south. And, he said, do you still have rag and bone men, John? I said, yes, we do. They don't turn up on a horse and cart anymore. It's a big open back truck, but there's still that kind of familiar holler of rag bone that anything you want rid of, they'll come and take it off your hands. And I don't know if they still give you the goldfish, which used to be the case when I was a kid. Let's have a look. Mr. Chris is saying my Merlin would have liked it. Is that the sofa there, Mr. Chris? See, we've got Lone Groover in. Nice to see you. And Dinger63. Just having a wee kind of scroll back up through the chat, see what I've missed. Anton saying someone's eating your sofa. Yes. Dear me, it was a warm day when I was wrestling with that as well. And there's Malcolm Spillett. Gary Shaw, any old iron and step toe. Yes, I suppose if you're not from the UK, you won't know what a rag and bone man is. They used to come round on a horse and cart and just collect any old household items that you needed rid of, and they would either tart them up and resell them, or just any metal that was involved, they'd wait in for scrap. And given that it was basically they were just coming collecting rubbish, all of their stock was essentially free. As I say, occasionally they used to give the kids a goldfish if they brought one of the little fairground ones in a plastic bag full of tepid water. Those goldfish never ever lasted though, did they? Mr. Chris is saying they give you a balloon. Oh, was it a balloon in your neck of the woods, mate? Let's have a wee look. Anything else? I think I'm all caught up. Let's tell you what's coming up on the channel this week. On Sunday, do you remember that really nice G&L Comanche guitar that was on loan to me a while ago from Mr. Balder there? Well, it's not its final hurrah, it's its penultimate hurrah appearance on the channel. It's long since departed the building, but I do my videos well in advance. So one of the videos I did with it actually, I think, came as a suggestion from our good friend there, Mr. Cal B. The guitar is called Comanche, and he said basically because it's essentially a Strat, why not do a version of Apache on it? So I did, but it's a little bit different from the Shadows version. It's you'll find out on Sunday just how different. Then on Monday, another in the continuing series of lead guitar tips and tricks. It's all about the chord sequence that you play over. There is a particular chord sequence that when I was a kid, it was everywhere. It was used as TV theme tunes. It was in at least half a dozen big hit singles that I grew up listening to. Basically the same descending chord sequence that the reason why it's so often used is because it really does make anything that you play over the top of it sound good. It's very complementary to even simple, kind of easy pentatonic basic kind of licks that get played over the top of it. So we're taking a look at that on Monday with a solo from to illustrate the veracity of my claim that it complements what you play. Then Tuesday we're doing a top 5 list, as is the custom and practice in this parish. And yes, it's all about the top 5 songs from the year of my birth. my favourite songs that are as old as me, and you know, I'm thinking I might expand this into like the top 5 songs from when I was 10 years old, the top 5 songs from when I was 20 years old, top 5 songs from when I was 30, top 5 songs from when I was 40. It's, that from when I was 50. Can't quite do the 61 yet, but yes, but we're nearing that particular milestone. So yeah, that's top 5 songs from the year of my birth. Then a new series of videos beginning on Wednesday. One of the questions I get asked most when I supply tabs to people, what's the main form of tab notation that everybody uses these days? It's Guitar Pro. And what's the one thing that confuses people in Guitar Pro? It's the rhythm notation that's baked into the tab score. Well, we're starting a new series of videos about rhythm notation. What are eighth notes? What are 16th notes? What are triplets? What are polyrhythms? What are tie lines? What are pushes? What is swing all about? All of these topics are all going to be under discussion. I'm going to show you how they sound. I'm going to show you what they look like written down, how to interpret them, what it means when you actually start playing them. And along the way, we're going to be looking at one or two, well, I've done one so far, queued up, ready to go out, one or two practical examples of where you can use this newfound knowledge when you're reading a tab, when you're kind of trying to get the licks to sound like they do on the record. So that's Wednesday. And then Thursday, asking a sort of a pertinent question, really. Are you like someone like Brian May, who is known for playing one single guitar, and that's 90% of the time the only guitar you see that player with? Are you that kind of player? Or are you, who's an example? Someone like Keith Richards. Do you remember a few years back when the Rolling Stones played Glastonbury? Keith was changing guitars probably more often than he was changing his socks. He was playing a different guitar, almost every song. So, he's obviously not a one guitar kind of guy. And it's just a bit of a fun discussion, bit of a musing, bit of chin stroking and head scratching on which sort of camp you fall into. And yeah, we'll see how it washes out. Anyway, that's what's coming up on the channel between now and Thursday. And you know what happens after Thursday? It's Friday. And what happens on a Friday is that. Excuse me, ladies and gents, boys and girls. I just need some more lubricant. By the way, it is, as is customary these days, the Carlsberg Export. And very nice it is too. And it's not a curry tonight at Robson Towers. I got a text message from Mrs. Robson today when she was out on the market, and she says, can we have kebab tonight and have curry tomorrow? So I thought, oh, yes, don't mind a kebab, so that's what we're going to do. Searching for Tony saying, I'm own a dozen guitars and play none of them kind of guy. 440 mil is quaffable in 10 minutes, and that's taking it easy. Yes, I do tend to slow down when I'm sat here talking, mainly because I'm sat here talking. And, it's my, let's just say, come 6 o'clock and I'm downstairs, it will be a much accelerated pace. I'd say we haven't got Mr. Cassidy in the house tonight. I believe he's over in Germany at the moment at Gear Street, isn't he? Silent Hybrid saying, as you do your vids in advance, will you be sweating in a t-shirt as we watch in Russian hats and coats with a can't cook and heat the house? I don't do them that far in advance, mate. I worked up to being 8 weeks in advance, and because I took a week off, I'm currently 7 weeks in advance. The last set of videos that I've got, no, I don't want to be in that folder. I want to be in this one. let me just get the last set of videos that are in the can and done, and all the tabs done and everything for week commencing the 6th of October. And yes, there's some good ones that week. There's a guitar featured in the Thursday and Sunday video of that week that I've been curious about since I was about 17. And I finally got to play one this week. So that's going to be, is it, did it live up to the hype? We'll see. Michael Purcell is saying, it's a pet peeve of mine, guitarists switching guitar on every song. Surely it adds to the cost of a ticket when they carry that many guitars. Well, I suppose everything is reflected in the ticket price, isn't it? So, I suppose, what percentage of that is reflected in the ticket price, I wouldn't pretend to understand. But, I don't think it's any cheaper to go and see Queen than it is to go and see, any other two. And because Queen still do kind of go out like, well, Brian May and Roger Taylor. John Deacon's retired and become something of the hermit these days, hasn't he? And I will say, and possibly I'm going to get a bit of flack for this, I've never seen it live, but I have seen a few TV appearances of Queen with Adam Lambert. And boy, he does he's not trying to be Freddie. And I think he does a better job of being, kind of a front man for the band that we used to call Queen. I think he does a better job of that than Paul Rodgers did. And I'm a massive Paul Rodgers fan. And when I heard he was going to be doing some work with Queen and doing a tour and stuff, I was really excited. And it just, to me, it just didn't work. It was very much Paul Rodgers' square peg in Queen's round hole. That sounds a little bit smuttier than it did in my head, but you know what I mean. It just didn't kind of work for me, that. But I think the what Adam Lambert does is it just works better, I think. So there you go. Disagree with me if you want. Tom Clark is saying, perhaps Mr. May can't afford more guitars. I'll tell you what, mate, I wouldn't mind being a fiver behind him. It's, if he's skint, I mean, I'm not skint. I'm not rich, but I'm not poor neither. That's all off the back of doing what I love for a living. Thanks largely to you good folks out there who watch me videos and kind of buy me books and have lessons with me and join my Patreon. So thank you each and every one of you for doing all of that. So I'm not skint, but I suspect Brian May is more than a little bit less skint than me. Nigel Jack Sherwood. Oh, Nigel, how are you, mate? I've just realised I didn't really recognise you there with your middle name involved, but yes. Hope life's treating you well, mate. Been a long time, hasn't it? Saw Queen and Lambert, thought they were excellent. Well, I'm glad it's not just me, mate, but nice to see you, mate. Let's have a wee look. Scroll up, because I've been waffling a bit, haven't I? So I've missed loads in the chat. Craig Stamen saying, I've got quite a few guitars, but my main two at the moment are my Ormsby and Agrajag guitars. Oh, yes. Well, I can speak with some authority on the joys of owning an Agrajag guitar. This one here. Video coming soon, by the way. I've given you a few teasers in the live stream over the last few weeks. But as I say, the videos get made well in advance. Yeah. I mean, it's just it's beyond incredible. Chip Young saying Queen 2 glam rock for me, I'll get me coat. Well, yeah, I can see why you're saying that. I mean, I think it was the mid-70s when they kind of exploded, wasn't it? And that was right in the middle of the sort of glitter and spangles and sequins and kind of ostentatious Liberace rock, as you might want to call it. So there's always a bit of that about them. But unlike some bands who you thought they're taking this seriously, they act like, I mean, no better example than Ziggy Stardust era David Bowie. He was fully, on board with that. That was the character he was inhabiting, and he was an actor, as well as a rock star, because he acted in various movies, and he treated that as a role that he was taking seriously. Queen, you always got the feeling that they were, and this is going to sound like a weird comparison, but a little bit like Slade. They were always just kind of saying, it was always a bit tongue-in-cheek. It was always a little bit, okay, let's send this up a little bit by being a bit over the top. I see we've got Rexomatic. Nice to see you, mate. Just pulled over to fill the tank on the road this morning to Flagstaff and back to Phoenix to prepare for a trip to England in September. As I've said before, all of these romanticized American locations that I've heard in song lyrics for all my life, like by the time I get to Phoenix, in Flagstaff, Arizona, what is that in, Promised Land by Chuck Berry? All of these things to actually get to converse with people and, and speak to people that actually that's their life. That's as real to them as, Middlesbrough is to me. It's just, I just find that a little bit sort of, humbling and gobsmacking, really. Anyway, more drink. Let's have a wee look. Boulder saying, your Agrajag reminds me of a G&L Assat Classic Blues Boy I owned for a while. Yeah, I think I know the model you mean, mate. And it's, I'm not claiming there's anything at all original or groundbreaking about that guitar, because I wouldn't claim there's anything original or groundbreaking about the way I play the bloody thing. But, I don't care. I'm a blues rock dinosaur, and, I'm done apologising for that, to be honest with you. I don't care whether the music I like or the music I play is considered cool or not. I just like it. We've got an update here on somebody's been on what's that website where you can look up people's net worth. Brian May has an estimated worth of 150 million. Yeah, well, as I say, I wouldn't mind being a fiver behind him. Peter Shields. I met Brian and Anita Dobson many years ago in the Hut pub in Nottingham Road. Shared a beer. Lovely fella. Apparently lived just across the road in one of the massive houses. Oh, that's nice to know. We've got a viewer's tale coming up very, very shortly in the next, 10, 15 minutes. But first, it is that time of the stream where we take a look at some pictures of people's gear. So let's just cue the first one up. As I say, if you have any pictures, any guitar pictures, doesn't have to be guitar pictures, it can be a bass. Doesn't have to be a bass, it can be your amp, it can be your pedal board, it can be just any part of the setup that you use to make music. Send them in, jrguitartuition@gmail.com, and they get put in a folder, and every Friday morning I pick a bunch out, usually 9 or 10 at random, and they get selected for the stream this week, and then they get moved into a used folder where I make sure, not always successfully, it has to be said, that they don't get duplicated on the following weeks. I've slipped up on that a couple of times, but I don't think I've done it this week. So let's have a look at this week's offerings, starting with, let's have a look at StreamYard have changed their layout, and things aren't in the way I normally like them to be, or where they used to be. So, yes, we've got this one. chap called John North sent me about a metric ton of pictures of his guitars, many of them Telecasters. And so you're going to see over the subsequent weeks many guitars labelled and another and yet more and more John North Tellies. So which one's this? This is a Harley Benton. I believe this is the TE52 model. I've never owned one of these, but I've played a couple of them that belong to me students. Lovely Telecaster style guitar, if you don't mind that kind of big, kind of glossy finish. Although I seem to remember the neck is more of a satin affair. I might be wrong, and they are. Let's just say you're going to need a good relationship with a friendly osteopath if you're going to stand up playing one of these for a while. But they are a proper, authentic sounding Telecaster. And John North's got one. And some more John North Telecasters. What have we got here? This is... can't tell. This has... I know there were a few parts casters in the mix that he sent me, and this one kind of has a look of parts caster about it, doesn't it? There's just something about that body and neck. And it says Fender on the headstock, but... nice looking pair of Telecasters nonetheless. And we've got another one here. One of the first students that I had way back in 1990, when I first started doing this job, had a guitar that was exactly the same as this, only it was 21 frets and it was absolutely beaten up and knackered. And it was a guitar he'd owned since about 1963 when he bought it second hand then. It was obviously a 50s telly because it had a maple fretboard, but and I think in 63 he paid like something like about 70 quid for it or something, which was obviously a fortune back then. But I reckon if he still got it, that he's probably made money on that one. Anyway, this is a chap called Klaus. And Klaus sent me some pictures this week, and Klaus is the chap here playing this Strat copy. I'm wiggling my mouse pointer about. You'll have to let me know in the chat whether you're actually seeing my mouse pointer, because I know people see it on Zoom when I share the screen. I don't know on StreamYard. Here he is here playing his first guitar in his first band, and this is, I think, at some point in the early 80s, he said. And I believe we might have some more pictures of Klaus coming up next. There he is. There he is in the late 80s with a PRS CE, Classic Electric. And then many years later, in 2013, he still owned the same guitar, although it's had some mods. I believe this is a Wilkinson Piezo, whatever you want to call it, bridge. And he's got some face-melting Seymour Duncans in there. He no longer has the guitar. He donated it to a local good cause. I think he said he plays a Duesenberg Star Player these days, but, yes. Which has aged most? Klaus or the guitar? Yes. Some things mature like a fine wine, don't they, Klaus? Then Mark Kernos sent me some pictures of guitars. A lovely Strat and a lovely Les Paul, looks like a studio, and his Seagull acoustic. You're going to cover a lot of sonic ground with those instruments, aren't you? And that's one of those stickers you get from Tourman, isn't it? When you buy something there, in case of fire, rescue my guitars. There's one on the outside of this, on the other side of the door as you come in here. Nice looking selection there, mate. Anyway, more John North Telecasters. What have we got here? Well, we've got this. Yes, I think this is the Parts Caster one. Here, the giveaway is, the lack of a brand on the headstock. John quite likes his Telecasters, and there's nothing wrong with that. And what have we got here? This is, it's a Fender with a, I'm not sure of the model of this one. John did tell me in the email, but, it's just not really practical for me to kind of have the information from the email and the pictures up on the screen at the same time. Normally, I reckon I kind of rely upon my spidey senses of being able to identify the model of guitar. But we're talking about Keith Richards earlier, weren't we? That's very sort of Micawber, like, isn't it? That's one of Keith's favourite. Or Andy Summers. Andy Summers used to play a guitar like that, didn't he? Telecaster with a neck humbucker. Then, as I said, you don't always have to send in a guitar. Peter Collins has sent me some pictures of, the synthesizers. There, I've said it, that he uses for recording for his for his recordings, basically. And I tend to do it all in sort of a DAW with a piano roll view and just mouse clicks, but because I'm too lazy to learn to play keyboards. But Peter obviously isn't, and he can tickle the ivories to enough of a degree to be able to make music on this strange, unfathomable instrument that that feels alien to me whenever I try and play one. So that's what I mean. If you've got any pictures of anything at all that you use to make music with, send them in. And then an absolute stalwart of the Patreon Tier 2 subscription, where every Tuesday, every other Tuesday, I mean to say, we have a Zoom call, and one of the chaps on there is from Scandinavia, and he's called Tony. And this is his studio. It's not finished yet, as you can see, but he thought he'd send us some pictures of it as a work in progress. I want you to send me some pictures when it's done, Tony. That would be absolutely magic. And there's a little bit of a close-up of the stage there. And that's all acoustic paneling that he's putting up there. As you can tell, we're in Tony's basement here. What Paul from My House would probably refer to as Fritzels. So there you go. Anyway, that's this week's selection. I'm just going to have a little bit of a lubricant. Catch up with a chat, and then we'll get into the the viewers' tales. The Shreddings is saying that's a lot of tone between those amps. You haven't seen the half of it, Trey. When Ton is on the Zoom call every other Tuesday, he's usually sat in front of, like when you see Rick Beato sat in front of that wall of amps on his videos. That's kind of, Ton isn't quite in that league, but he's much closer to it than many of us. Jem Powell is saying, John, acknowledging your skills go beyond guitar matter. Any tips on curtain poles? Yes, I got an email from you, didn't I, earlier? I know who you are now, Jem Powell. Yes. Yes. This is a chap who has lessons with me, and cut a long story short, I was explaining why I wasn't. There was no lesson this week. That's because I was taking a week off, and I was engrossed in flat pack and curtain poles and all kinds of stuff. So that's what that's a reference to. Anyway, let's have a little bit more of a look at what I've missed in the chat. Jay Aoyong is saying, wow, late 80s PRS. Is it pre-factory? I don't know. It's somewhere around there, isn't it? I think there was an answer to there somewhere, but you've read it, mate. So even if I can't find it, you're privy to the information. Where are we? Calby is saying he's putting together a cool studio. Yes, he is indeed. That's Tony there. Let's have a look. Anything else that's directed at me? Because I don't like jumping into a conversation that's happening between you lads in the chat. It's one of the things I love about doing this, actually, is the fact that, the chat section is just, it's full of conversations that are, it's like what I intended this live stream to be when I first started it, when during lockdown when the pubs were shut. It's like there's little tables all over the place where people are having conversations, and it's like I'm stood behind the bar, and I'm the landlord. Where are we? Jack Collins is saying, John, I'd like to send you some pictures out of my guitars. I've got to figure out how to do it on my phone. I'm not I will do emails and stuff on my phone and that kind of thing, but I hate doing it. I like a keyboard and a big screen, and I hate doing that kind of thing on a phone or even a tablet. Peter Shields is saying, that's a lovely Harley Benton guitar. I have one and it's fabulous, but built like a tank and about the same weight. Yes, the Harley Benton TE52. And Artist Bubba's saying, Bruce Springsteen vibes. Yeah, with that TE52, very much so. Jay Aoyong is saying, Ash on that TE52. Yes, it is. And they are beautiful guitars in terms of the aesthetics of them. I often say, like, when you picture a particular type of guitar, a Les Paul, a Strat, or anything like that, 335 Telecaster, there's an image that comes to mind, and that sort of blonde, ash-bodied telly is very much how I picture a Telecaster in my head. Artist Bubba's saying, seen Mick Ronson showing the right way to play Ziggy Stardust made all the difference. Yes, it's one of those guitar shop riffs, isn't it? It's one of those apprentice numbers, a little bit like Smoke on the Water and, dare I say it, Stairway to Heaven, that everybody plays and most people play it wrong. So it's... I still play Smoke on the Water wrong when I play it because it's just the way I learn. And I don't play it. I don't do it with the bar chords. That was the way I first learned it. E, G, B flat. I don't do that. But I don't play it on the same part of the neck that apparently Richie plays it. So, but I don't care. I bet he couldn't play some of my tunes correct. Let's have a look. What else have we missed? Blue Sofa Songs is saying, did you see the ZZ Top? And I will say it right these days, ZZ Top, but when I first heard of this band, it was via a print magazine. I think it might have even been Kerrang back in the days when I used to read that. And in my British, UK English brain, you know how like in Microsoft you can change between American English and UK English. In my UK English brain, I pronounced it as ZZ Top. So yeah, did you see the ZZ Top doco on Sky Arts a few weeks back? I didn't, mate. No, I don't. I don't get time to watch a lot of television. I'm in here during a regular working week. I'm sat at this desk here, blethering away into a webcam or doing tabs or that kind of thing from about 7:30 on a morning till 8 or 9 p.m. on a night. And all I want to do then is watch an episode of Salvage Hunters or Wheeler Dealers and get as many beers down my neck as I can before I start nodding off and going to sleep. At maybe 10 or 10:30. So I don't watch a lot of television. And on a weekend, like on a Saturday and a Sunday, I do sit in front of the TV with the missus. But then it's like, shall we get a movie? Shall we kind of watch this? Shall we do that? So me putting a very sort of nerdy guitar themed documentary on would go down like a bucket of cold sick, I suspect. Cal B is saying, live band pics from your glorious past may be a cool feature like Klaus. There's very, very, very few pictures of that, actually, because when I was, like Klaus, when I was kind of strutting my stuff and getting up on my hind legs in front of an audience, it was in an era when, you had to remember to have film in the camera and take the camera with you. And, you know, I mean, there's some, but I never really kept copies of them because it was just, well, okay, I've moved on from that band. Why do I want band photos from that band? I'm not with them anymore, you know. So there's probably some out there, you know. If you look up a band from the Teesside area called Skullduggery, then that was a band I was in and out of a couple of times. There's bound to be some photos, you know, if you do a Google image search for that. But you know, I've you know, I've never bothered because I'm not that interested in seeing photos of myself when I was thin and had hair. Cylon Hybrid. I'm just going to read this one out, then we're going to get into the viewer's tale for this week. Have you done any vids on the Yamaha SA500 slim acoustic electric scene? Seen a few turn up, but my luthier say much more expensive as work not available, but through the F-holes. They look good. I can't remember whether it was a Yamaha I did or not. A mate of mine loaned me a thin line semi, but that's true of all thin line semi acoustics. You know, you've got to kind of do any work on the pots or anything like that through the F holes. And I've always thought that's a design shortcoming. You know, you could put a backplate on and make it accessible, but no, I might have done, but I can't remember. I think it might have been a Yamaha that I did a couple of videos on. Gosh, it's got to be thick end of 5 years ago. But, you know, there are that many loaner guitars that come through my hands that, you know, I've got them for a few days, make a video, kind of pass them back to their owner. And I mean, there's two in here at the moment, a couple of Gibsons that, you know, are only here on loan. And I'll bet in 5 years' time I won't remember that I've done them. Lefty Pick saying Wheelie Dealer's got to love that program. Same with Father Brown. Haven't seen Father Brown, but I know of Father Brown. I remember that there used to be a show when it was like a priest who's also an amateur sleuth, isn't he? Anyway, I'm going to go over to here and just pull up the viewers' tales. This is the last one. Okay, this is the last one. So if you have any stories of a nature where you've met your heroes, a rock star, you've met the great and the good, the famous, and you know, how did that turn out? Let me know. It doesn't even have to be that. It could be some story of from your gigging days. I might drop in one or two of my own of those. You've probably heard them already if you've been like a long-term viewer of this channel, but I might do another video and revisit some of those. But anything that is an amusing story that can be, you know, you can gild the lily a little bit if you want to. You can be economical with the truth, as long as there's a kernel of truth there in the tale. I don't care. Send them in. A brush with the famous, or just an amusing story from your gigging days. Anyway, this one comes from a chap called Phil, and this is the last one, so I need some more, so send some in. This one comes from Phil, and he says, "Good morning, John. Here's a story about when I was just starting out playing the guitar. My mother wanted my brother and I to learn to play the accordion so we could play for her. Well, that didn't go down well with me, but I did want to play the guitar. So what I did was convince my mother that my brother should learn the accordion and I would learn the guitar, and it would be a better combination. She agreed, and so we went round the corner where there was a Ukrainian music teacher, and that was really good. He could play piano, guitar, drums, and of course accordion. He also insisted that we learn music theory as well. We went for lessons twice a week for over a year. There were two other brothers taking lessons, and we became friends and formed a band. When the music teacher thought we were good enough, he got us gigs at the Ukrainian Polish clubs nearby, playing tangos and waltzes and a few pop songs. We got paid in crisps and coke. As much as I hated playing those songs, it was a great foundation and experience. We moved on to bigger clubs and got a bit of a following. Two of us were 16 and two were 14 and 15. There was this one Polish club in Brooks Bar, Manchester, that we played frequently. we would still play the ballroom dancing and dancing stuff for the older crowd, but also played a lot more pop and rock stuff. So we attracted a younger crowd as well. It may sound a bit weird back now, but back then it worked. I remember there was this one very nice man and his wife that would come up to see us play every time we were booked there. He would always come up to the stage and ask me to play his favourite song and then put 4 pints of beer on the stage. How cool, 16, 14 and 15, how cool was that? You'll never see that happen today. It was just such a great time. Nobody cared and there was never any trouble. Those were the days. Cheers, John. Phil. What a lovely story. Yes, it's not a million miles away from, how I played my first gigs, just kind of playing in my music teacher's band. One of my school teachers, the music teacher, I would play occasional stand-in gigs in his band when his regular guitarist was indisposed. And as a 15-year-old, my music teacher was taking me to pubs and kind of turning a blind eye when I would buy a pint of lager and smoke a cigarette. Yes, indeed. Those were indeed the days. Anyway, where are we? 10 minutes. I'm probably not going to get through this last beer, but I'm not going to get through the last 10 minutes without pouring one. So I will just get this one decanted, and then we'll have a little bit of a look in the chat and talk about whatever topics and subjects and whatever crops up, basically. So, this is a perfect pour. This is just absolute perfection. The correct ratio of head to, just look. Oh, you can't, can you? But you can't prove it isn't perfect, can you? So don't be taping. Excuse me. Don't be typing flake in the comments. Where are we? Michael Purcell is saying, how about Bookish? Written and starring Mark Gatiss. Don't know him. Bookshop owner, detective, set after World War II. My missus isn't all of this sort of, kind of. I tend to think of it as the Miss Marple kind of TV detective. The sort of quaint, kind of genteel stuff. She's recently discovered Midsummer Murders and is going through all of those. Because what she does basically all day, every day, is she's got this little kind of side hustle where she sells her own handmade jewellery. Well, she's sat with a little craft tray on her knee, kind of making necklaces and rings and earrings all day, and she has the TV on downstairs watching all of this kind of stuff. Let's have a look. Rexomatic is saying, who all is planning to attend the Red Car gathering? Yes, I better give that a shout out, hadn't I? If you're planning on coming to Red Carmageddon Friday, September the 19th, a few weeks' time, then if you haven't already done so, let me know by emailing me at redcarnightout@yahoo.com. A very, very easy email address to remember. Red Car, as in a car that is red. Red Car Night Out, all one word, @yahoo.com. So far, we've got Doug, we've got Dave McKenna, Theme Tunes, Ian Aldridge, Johnny Random, Phil Robinson, Rexomatic, and Anton. These are the chaps who we've got confirmed at the moment, and at least a couple of those are bringing a +1 as well. And he said, I can't believe this, but some of you lads watch this with your missus, so everyone's welcome. Just if there's any others that need to be added to that list, then redcarnightout@yahoo.com. And don't forget that we have a fundraiser going at the moment for a Ultra 2 Strat. I will put the link in the chat There it is. Boom. It should be up there any second. There we go. The link is in the chat. Chuck a couple of quid in the hat. Let me get a Fender Ultra 2 Strat, which I will review and compare with the lowly Squier Classic Vibe Strat, and then the guitar, the Ultra 2 Strat, that is, will get donated to Zoe's Place Baby Hospice, a charity that long-term viewers of this channel know I'm a big supporter of, and they can auction it off, they can raffle it off, they can do whatever they want with it in order to raise funds for what is, I think, a fantastically worthy cause. So yes, if you've got a couple of quid, I'll tell you what, going forward, rather than chucking a couple of quid in the super chat, then chuck it in the Give Send Go, the fundraiser for this Ultra 2 Strat. You'll be helping a fantastic cause, if you don't mind. Thank you. Anyway, I see Cylon Hybrid typed Flake. Well, yeah, prove it. Anyway, anything else to what you're saying there, Fat Mark? John, get your missus to check out the Mrs. Jeffries series of mysteries. My mum loved them. I'll pass that on, Mrs. Jeffries. I shall remember that. Johnny Random saying, I've got the week after booked off, so you know what to expect. Yes, I've got the day off, the Saturday after that booked off, and we're going to have a little bit of a, well, some, maybe all of us, going to have a little bit of a toddle off through to the next town along the coast called Saltburn, where there's a really nice guitar shop and some nice pubs. Whatever will we find to do? You know, guitar shop, pubs. Oh dear me, that could that sounds like a fantastic day out, doesn't it? Rent to Kill is saying, how is Dougal? Dougal has two speeds. Dougal has Tasmanian Devil and Sloth, and mainly today he's been in Sloth mode. I suspect when I go downstairs and want to put my feet up and, you know, kind of spend some time watching some quality TV with the missus, he'll turn into Tasmanian Devil. That's usually what happens. Silent Hybrid saying, how old is Dougal now? Must be growing. Well, we got him in I think he's 2. Did we get him in 2022 or 2023? I can't remember. It seems like he's been here forever, but he's fully grown now. He's about 40 kilos, so he's a big chunky lad, you know. And when he's on the lead, he's got he can pull like a locomotive, you know. And the thing is, because he's half lurcher, lurchers are a breed of dog that are built to, or bred rather, to just run, and you can't let him off the lead because he's just not going to come back. You know, much like apparently huskies are quite like that as well. So we've got to tire him out by the thing is, throw a tennis ball up the stairs and get him to chase that, and he brings it back down and you throw it back up again. 20 minutes of that and he's absolutely goosed. So that's how he gets his exercise when he's just going out to check his P-mail and stuff. You know, he's on the lead, and boy can he pull. Boy, it's yes. You know, this arm is to wonder it's still in its socket. Anyway, chaps, 59 minutes plus change into the stream, and yes, I've got to go and order some kebabs. So we're going to wrap it up there for this week. Thank you once again for coming along and watching a fat, bald northern lad with not enough hair and too many chins talk absolute bollocks for an hour. I'll keep on doing it till you're sick of me, and it's been a blast. But for now, time, gentlemen, please.